President Buhari visits Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, at the Lambeth Palace in London. More than 5 billion naira raised in support of the poor and vulnerable women and children. Plus, correspondent captures the mood of the people of Kajola, Ogun and neighboring states with the sighting of the wagon assembly plant in their community. These and more on Panorama today with me, Ian Ray John. Welcome. President Muhammadu Buhari has paid a visit to the Lambeth Palace, the official London residence of the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby. The president was received by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Reverend Justin Welby, who has been a regular visitor to the Nigerian House in London as a guest of President Muhammadu Buhari. Nigeria and England share a long history of cordial relations, and this reciprocal visit is a testimony to that. Pictures released by the Special Assistant to the President on New Media, Bashir Ahmed, show President Buhari with Most Reverend Justin Welby at the Lambeth Palace on the south bank of River Thames. President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated Archbishop Ignatius Kaigama on his appointment as Archbishop of the Catholic Archdiocese of Abuja by the Holy Father Pope Francis, following the retirement of John Cardinal Nayekon. The president, in a statement, recognizes the roles Archbishop Kaigama had played in promoting peace, interfaith dialogue and mutual understanding between Christians and Muslims in Nigeria. As His Grace Archbishop Kaigama begins a new phase of his ministry, the president joined all members of the Catholic Church across Nigeria in praying for a successful and memorable tenure in office that will see the church accomplish great things for the unity and prosperity of the nation, while complementing government's efforts at human and material development. The president also felicitates with Archbishop Emeritus John Cardinal Onayekon on his retirement, commending His Eminence for his dedicated service to the Catholic Church and invaluable contributions to the spiritual life of Christians under his pastoral care. Similarly, the Plateau State Governor, Simon Bako Lalong, has congratulated Archbishop Ignatius Kaigama on his appointment as the Archbishop of the Catholic Archdiocese of Abuja, following the retirement of John Cardinal Olorunfemi Onayekon. The governor, in a statement, described the appointment of Archbishop as a higher calling to divine duty, which follows his impeccable track record of service in the Lord's vineyard over the decades. He expressed joy at the new Archbishop's tremendous contribution to the growth of the Catholic Church in Nigeria and Plateau State in particular, where he consistently availed the state with his wealth of wisdom and experience, especially during difficult moments. Governor Lalong prayed for God's grace for Archbishop Kaigama to carry out the new assignment and assured him of the continuous prayers and support of the government and people of Plateau State. The Plateau State Governor also congratulated John Cardinal Nayekon on his retirement after years of meritorious service to God, the Church and Nigeria. Moving on, as Muslims mark Eid al-Maulud, President Muhammadu Buhari says the greatest honor that could do to Prophet Muhammad is to follow his shining examples of non-violence, peaceful disposition and remarkable virtues of patience. In his goodwill message to the Muslim Ummah to commemorate the birthday of Prophet Muhammad, President Buhari says imbibing the virtues which the Holy Prophet is historically famous and revered for would impact greatly on changing attitudes than the best sermons ever will in tackling violent extremism, ideologies and indiscriminate killing which portrays the faith in bad light. The president advises Muslims not to allow their children to be lured and recruited by extremists who will ultimately destroy their lives and future. He wishes the Muslims Ummah a peaceful celebration and urges them to renew their resolve in promoting tolerance, love, harmony and peaceful coexistence in the country. The president sent special goodwill messages to emirs of Dara, Kawsari, Hadejia and Gamel, whose people celebrated Eid al-Maulud named Salah Ghani with greater fervor and prayers for unity, progress and prosperity of all Muslims around the world. And still talking about Eid al-Maulud, the president of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, has felicitated with Muslims on the commemoration of Eid al-Maulud. A statement by Special Advisor on Media, Ola Awaniyi, urges Muslims and Nigerians in general to imbibe the virtues of peace, justice and love for one another, as exemplified by Prophet Muhammad. Similarly, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajagbeamila, has urged countrymen and women, especially Muslim Ummah, to use the occasion of Maulud to offer prayers for Nigeria. In a statement by his Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Larry Lassisi, the Speaker calls for continuous prayers for Nigeria as Maulud, observed in remembrance of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is a time for sober reflection. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress, APC, rejoices with Nigerians, especially Muslims, on the occasion, calling for citizens to be law-abiding and eschew hate to build a worthy nation. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari warmly greets former Governor of Anambra State, Dame Etiaba, who turned 77 today, describing her as the good teacher who completely altered the history of Nigeria as first female governor between November 2006 and February 2007. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says the President joins family members, friends, professional and political associates in celebrating the quintessential leader. President Buhari commends her disciplined and focused life, urging her to proudly reflect on her legacy of building the nation by imbuing the younger generation with sound moral and educational values. President Buhari prays that the Almighty God will continue to strengthen Dame Etiaba, grant her longer life and good health. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has described the Kajola Wagon Assembly Plant in Ogun State as a historic turning point for the railway revolution ongoing in Nigeria. At the groundbreaking ceremony of Nigeria's first wagon assembly plant, the Vice President reaffirms federal government's commitment in turning the transportation sector in the country. Oyinaya Kalu-Walker reports.
It mattered to them how long they waited. As the train with the Vice President came to a halt, the people of Kajola went wild with jubilation. Performing the groundbreaking ceremony of the wagon assembly plant, the Vice President said the siting of the plant in Nigeria affirms President Muhammadu Buhari's directives in Executive Order 5.
On prioritizing Nigerians and Nigerian businesses in the innovation, production and procurement of engineering projects and services.
He said federal government is committed to revolutionize the railway sector in Nigeria.
I expect that we will move on very quickly to the next phase of this project, which is the assembly and construction of coaches and locomotives.
Minister of Transportation, Chibike Rotimi Amechi, said the project is expected to generate about 5,000 jobs.
Encourage Mr. CCECC to establish this plant. It is expected that the plant will generate job opportunities for Nigerians and as well facilitate the much-desired objective of the government towards the local content capacity development.
With this wagon assembly plant, Nigeria has brought home rail technology, where Nigerians will be producing, developing and maintaining rail transport equipment. It is expected to meet the assembly function of open wagon, container flat wagon, tank wagon and box wagon. Oyinaya Kalu-Walker, NTA News.
Meanwhile, it was an atmosphere of joy, hope and next-level promise fulfilled for the people of Kajola, Ogun and neighboring states with the siting of the wagon assembly plant in their community. Oyinaya Kalu-Walker captured the mood of the people.
Kajola is a remote community in Ifo local government in Ogun State. It is a community that they are known for farming and also petty trading. The literary meaning of Kajola is let us come together and make wealth. The sound of Ekabo, the Yoruba word meaning welcome, filled the air as the people of Kajola could not hide their joy.
I'm very happy in short.
The thing that won't happen today, we like it though. It's very beautiful.
Listen, I don't see the new level of the Buhari regime.
From the young to the old, both male and female came out in their numbers to witness the landmark event. They said this project will change the face of the community, bringing development, opening windows of opportunities.
Because I know if they finish everything up now, it will give me more excitement. You know that our children will benefit. So far, the thing is happen here.
Traditional ruler of the community said, besides job creation, the project will bring about technological transfer and conserve foreign exchange.
And it's a great opportunity for everybody. You, the youth, old and young. Ever since they have actually started, you won't hear anything that is bad. They don't quarrel with the Chinese. They were not actually quarrel with anybody who are doing the project.
The project is expected to progress to the manufacturing of coaches and locomotives in the next few years. Meanwhile, plans by the federal government to establish the University of Transportation in Daura, Katsina State has been completed. Oyinaya Kalwaka, NTA News.
And away from the Wagon Assembly plant now, more than 5 billion naira was raised in support of the poor and vulnerable women and children in some parts of the northern state of Nigeria. This was at a dinner organized by a non-governmental organization in support of children around the world, especially in Nigeria. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the event says it is obvious that government alone cannot provide the needs of all and expresses the need for more philanthropic gestures in support of social programs in the country. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
About the Nigerian children. This dance drama paints the prowling diseases and avoidable conflicts that have placed women and children in pitiable conditions, not only in Nigeria, but across the globe. In every minute, 2 or more children may be losing their lives to a disease that is preventable or treatable. In Nigeria, Save the Children Fund is working with the Kupi Foundation, headed by Florence Ifeoluwa Otedola.
I went to Borno State, and the first child I met at Molai Hospital was only 2 years old. She was so malnourished that she needed a blood transfusion. Bed after bed, I met more and more sick children dying, including a 16-year-old mother who was also malnourished.
Although hundreds of millions of children have been saved through radical approach by governments across the world to reduce child mortality, according to Global Childhood Report 2019, released by the Save the Children campaigners. The general feeling, however, is that more could still be done by respective governments, organizations, and even on individual level to prevent death of 44.4 million children annually.
Yet we are far from where we ought to be. 1.7 million new job entrants come into the job market every year. We are 4 million pupils short of our target for school feeding, even though we're feeding 9.3 million. When we looked at our last estimates, we should be doing 15 million in microcredits to make the difference that we should make. We're at 2 million. It's obvious that government cannot do it alone. It is time for each and every one of us to decide that we really can make a difference and make our own contribution to this cause of ensuring that the poor and the vulnerable are given a decent life and attain some dignity while they are alive.
Women don't eat up the money by themselves or their family. They make sure that they give it to others.
Organizers promised that the proceeds from the event will go towards the foundation's programs that will benefit thousands of Nigerians in need. A number of serving governors and dignitaries, including the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshomole, and former Senate President Bukola Saraki, were in attendance. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
If you just joined us, this is Panorama live on the network service of the NTA. Time to take a break. Panorama continues in a bit.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
Good to have you back. The acting head of service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemi-Osun, says the public service rules is currently being reviewed in collaboration with stakeholders, while the update of schemes of service is at the final stage and will soon be published for use in the public service. Onyinye Joshua Ifeanyi has details of the 41st meeting of National Council of Establishments held in Asaba, Delta State.
The acting head of service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemi-Osun, said the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has commenced the process of cultivating and enhancing a culture of citizen-centered service delivery. This is also a view of ensuring a holistic transformation of the civil service.
In a rather unprecedented manner, government at all levels continually rely on the civil service to provide effective, efficient, and requisite professional competencies to drive policies, programs, and activities.
Declaring the 41st National Council of Establishment meeting open, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, represented by his deputy, Kingsley Otuaro, urged participants to come up with innovative ideas that will reform the public service in sustaining the nation's democracy.
You are expected to conform strictly to the requirement of the civil service in the discharge of your responsibilities, be non-partisan, and ensure that discipline is professionally injected into the service.
The head of service, Delta State, Reginald Bayoko, pointed out that decisions taken will enhance the public service both at the state and federal level. In Asaba, Onyinye Joshua Ifeanyi, NTA News.
In other news, for effective governance, citizens must develop the attitude of active participation in government by asking questions as well as holding their leaders accountable. Director General, Bureau of Public Service Reforms, Ibrahim Dansuki Arabi, said this at a special dialogue between its agency and citizens group in collaboration with Global Center for Human Empowerment and Entrepreneurship Development. Debola Brookslyn Sunday brings us details.
Maintenance of law and order, protection of lives and property, provision of social welfare services, and economic development are some of the duties and responsibilities of government to the people.
Different ministries.
How to take advantage of government's willingness to engage its citizens is the reason the tripartite civil society advocacy groups are meeting. As they make contributions, their line of thoughts remain the same. They want citizens to be carried along in the plans and programs of government and given rights to information.
So that they can leverage on the energy and the resources available to them, so that everybody will come together and speak one thing, and that will be improved service delivery to citizens.
The National Assembly, through consistent advocacy by the civil society organizations, who are also representatives of the citizens, have provided a citizens portal for engaging with the budget process, but patronage by citizens is minimal. The list can go on and on of efforts and initiatives by governments.
Many governments provide assistance.
For the Director General of the Bureau, Ibrahim Dansuki Arabi, citizens have the right to criticize government, but it must be done constructively with the aim of moving the nation forward. And government should also be praised when they meet the people's expectations.
This is alone in the same line, in the same direction with the thinking of the president, who is deeply committed to OGP. He has directed that citizens must be carried along, citizens must be engaged, citizens have the right to receive information.
The program, which will be domesticated in all states of the Federation, is also aimed at creating synergy between government and the people. Adebola, Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
And now, looking at agriculture. Farmers in Nigeria will continue to have access to quality and affordable fertilizer following the successes recorded through the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative. Under the initiative, the country is today housing more than 24 fertilizer blending plants, producing and distributing more than 2 million tons of the farming inputs. Musa Babali reports that the Presidential Initiative has addressed corruption in the fertilizer value chain.
It has been a long time when issues relating to siphoning, diversion, even cases of racketeering in the distribution of fertilizer made headlines or discussed in the media. This is because of the policy put in place by the federal government, which has successfully removed middlemen from the distribution chain. These agriculturists say contributed largely to increase in the yield per hectare being recorded by farmers nationwide.
In Zamfara State, there was this old man. He plants rice 3 times a year, and he got about 11 metric tons per hectare.
Farmers don't need to pay for the insurance separately. They don't pay premium separately. The price of the insurance is packaged and bundled into the cost of the fertilizer.
To further strengthen the policy, the National Assembly has enacted a law which the President has signed to prescribe punishment for those engaged in selling fake and adulterated fertilizer to farmers.
Penalty is 7 years imprisonment without an option of fine, because it is highly criminal for somebody to sell fertilizer to our unsuspecting farmers, a fertilizer that is deficient in plant nutrients, fertilizer that is adulterated, misbranded or unbranded, or even divert fertilizer.
Reports across the country indicate that the price of fertilizer remains 5,500 naira as agreed between the federal government and producers. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And now talking sports, only one home victory obtained in second week of Nigeria's top flight football, as Amanzi Marcus reports on Sports Update.